What's up guys, this is Saiyan here coming at you with another Evangelion card game deck profile, and this time we are looking at green purple monsters. So let's jump right into it. Okay, to start with, we're immediately gonna go into the engine of this deck. That's the stuff you want to pull off, if you can. Obviously in this card game it's quite difficult to get a proper engine going because there's very little card draw, but what we're trying to achieve here, get a Gendo down, 4 cost, 4 strength, counterattack, doesn't matter, it's a Sentinel, which is always good, and it can also tap itself type of Sentinel, which is the best type of Sentinel you can have. You get +3 time, and you must give one of your other battlers -3 strength. Not a problem at all. If you got 2 Gendos down, what you can do is they can give each other -3, so 2 gun, tap this one +3 time, give this one -3 strength. Tap this one 4-3 time, give this one -3 strength. They both survive, and as long as you got a taunter out, or even 2, that's even better, then your opponent's probably not going to be able to touch your Gendos. But don't forget that this only lasts until the end of turn. When it's your opponent's turn, this guy's going to go back to 4 strength. Absolutely broken. This card is, I think this is an auto-include. It's a staple in any deck that runs green. You can't lose with this card. Just simply cannot. The difficult part is to draw into it. That's the only part. Once you draw into Gendo, is just gonna completely. He can very much dominate the game. If Gendo comes down and is removed, you want to bring it back from your graveyard. So we're running 3 Kajis, Ryoji Kajis, for a 1 strength for 3 cost. Normally is not a very good deal, but this guy gives you an EX card if it's destroyed, and it can also tap itself to bring any card back from your graveyard. It also does the same effect on the stack, so super good, super versatile. So if you do have Gendo in your graveyard, play Kaji, hopefully survives the turn, which you can do, if you have enough taunters. Next turn, you tap him, get Gendo back into your hand, play Gendo for 4, pass the turn, play whatever you want. Next turn, when it's Gendo's turn, you can either tap Gendo, give this guy -3, blow him up, draw an EX card, or you can keep, obviously, Ryoji around, just keep getting stuff back from your graveyard. It's a super good card. It does so many things. And the other card that can really help us get Gendo back and other Sentinels that we have in the deck as well is Prototype WWWWWAAAAA. 6 cost, 6 strength, really good. When you play it, you can pick any Sentinel back into your hand from your graveyard. It also has +1 onto the stack when it swings, so it's super good. Gendo's not our only Sentinel in the deck. So actually, Prototype WWWWWAAAAA is going to be just significantly better every time you get a Sentinel into your graveyard. And that's really good. That is something that you definitely want to take benefit of. So this is basically the core engine. We really want to see Gendo, and even if he's removed, he's gonna definitely have a massive target on his head when he comes down. Then you still have cards to be able to bring him back to your hand, replay him, and just carry on dominating the game. Moving on to our battlers, our stuff where we're trying to get obviously advantage of. So test type 01, 2 strength for 2 cost, really good card. When it swings, next turn when it swings, it's gonna go on a suicide mission, but you swing with 5 strength, and when it does swing, you need to discard a card and you draw an EX card. Now, again, if you remember, this guy and this guy brings our things back from the graveyard, so actually losing that 1 card and gaining an EX just makes these cards better. So that's how you gotta think of it. You're not really losing, you're just getting your EX. And off the stack, it's just a draw 1, which is, again, very good, very useful. We got Big Shinji, a 2 cost taunter, which you can play for 1 cost as a pilot. That's really good. He's really in the deck just for the memes. Or Gendo is tapped to give this his son -3 to destroy him, to give all the guys recovery. That's really what the anime is about, and also Shinji just whining. On the stack, it taps something, so that's really cool. If your opponent has multiple attackers stacked up, then it can be very good. Second Angel Lilith, one of my favorites, definitely. 4 cost 4 on the stack, it jumps back to your hand. If it's destroyed, you get an EX card. If you got 2 Gendos down, again, you can just give -6 strength to this guy, blow him up, get yourself an EX card. You got yourself 6 time. You can play a big guy, swing with a big guy, play the EX card. You might have won the game. There you go. Next one is Ninth Angel, Eva 03. Probably one of the best cards for this particular deck because it's a low cost, high strength. So when you're early game and you're still setting up, if you got that Gendo again, you can tap this guy to get extra time. This guy doesn't mind. Look at that. A very cheap cost, very high strength. Yes, we do give our opponent 2 Guardians, but we get an EX card, and it goes to the stack with +2. So if you swing in with this guy, particularly if you blew up that Shinji, for example, and this guy has recovery, the only thing that can stop this if it gains a what is it? A calm battle, which some cards do, not many. Fifth Angel, just such a good card. It's honestly such a great card. 5 strength, 5 cost. That's the usual cool deal. +1 against the stack Taunter. And if it's destroyed, you get an EX card. Your opponent needs to discard 2. That's just so good. You know, the level of, you know, card advantage that you get off this. You basically replace Fifth Angel with the EX card, so you're technically not losing card from what you have available, and your opponent needs to discard 2. So just super powerful. Again, works really well with Gendo and some other stuff as well. Just generically a good card and super good to run here. We have Production Model 02, and this is one of those cards where you're like, okay, well, I couldn't really find anything better to put in here. It's not bad by all means. If it's destroyed, it then blows up a 4 or less cost card, which is alright, I suppose. But it's mostly in there because it's an Eva. We can boost it with Shinji, or again, just get it out there and swing and maybe get an EX down off it, something like that. Definitely very much a flex slot. Okay, now we have the biggest Shinji in the game. This is a 6 cost Sentinel, and more often than not, it's actually worthwhile just playing him on his own, because he has Sentinel, and when he swings, he gets +3. So you want to swing with this guy for 7. Then you tap him to be your Sentinel for the next turn. He's really good on the stack as well. It just gives somebody out a con attack, which is what I was talking about. That can really stop this guy, obviously, with the if he has recovery. But that's pretty much the only thing. But again, the flexibility to be able to play him for only 4 costs, put him on an Eva. That's where, like, this guy can be good. In case, you know, you need to deal with something big, you put Shinji on it. Now you got a 12 cost, a 12 strength when you're swinging, and it costs you 9. Okay, you swung. Now you have this guy standing up as a Sentinel. If somebody comes around with a 9 cost, 10 cost, kills it, you still can blow up one of your opponents because they have to play around it, obviously. And you know, that is kind of like what you want to do. You want to just, this game is all about how many roadblocks can I put in the front of my enemy before I deal with his and get into his stack. This card, particularly Evangelion Mark 06, is very much a sponge or a finisher, depending what you need. It can't swing at battlers, which can be quite frustrating, particularly if you start with a few of these and a few of 10th Angel in your starting hand, and neither of them can swing at battlers. That can be really bad, especially against specific decks. But it's a really good sponge for Gendo. You can tap 2 Gendos even. It still goes down to a 1 strength. If your opponent doesn't really have battlers, just swing in with this guy. Hopefully you get both of them in, and then tap the Gendo or the Gendos so you can soak up the strength loss. We got 3 6th Angel. 6th Angel is super good here because it does basically what Mark 6 does, but he can swing at battlers, and when he's destroyed, you get 3 time. So obviously really good. When your opponent swings at this guy, they have to take into account, well, okay, this is either going to end my turn, or I am significantly losing time against me, particularly with Gendo that's constantly giving me extra time. They normally would want to try and keep you on 1 or 2 time maximum. And last but not least, there is a good reason why we run this guy. 10th Angel kind of needs to be in this deck. I was really thinking about cutting him, but overall he is still a 9 strength Sentinel. There is very few things that can get through this card. Honestly, this guy can protect your stack so well. It can also sponge up some stuff from Gendo. It can survive second impact. It's just really good. Except the fact that it can't attack battlers, which is a bit of a shame. So, you really have to actively remove your opponent's battlers before you play this guy. Remember, the first turn you play, yeah, you can tap it for Sentinel, but after that, if you can't swing with him, you will really struggle to tap him for Sentinel. Unless your opponent taps it or something, which they would be crazy to do. They wouldn't necessarily want to give you a Sentinel for free. It takes a lot of, strategy how you play 10th Angel. But it's a good card. It's a big ass beater. And then our extra cards, and we do have quite a few here, but there's a very good reason for that. So if you're running green, again, very much as running Gendo, I think you also need to play Futsuki. To get an EX card and give all your guys -2 leader is amazing. On the stack, it draws you an EX card, that's amazing. So you might be thinking, well, it's really pricey for an EX card. This is actually bang on an average costed EX card in the game. It replaces itself, you get the EX card, and if you have maybe a couple of small guys or a couple of bigger guys down, they all get -2 leader. The next battler you pay is going to cost you significantly less, maybe even 0 cost, if you sort of like build around one before you play Futsuki. But even just playing him to get the 1 EX, and then maybe you bank something off the leader, maybe not. That's not really an issue. Don't run away. It's purple. You kind of have to run this card. So good. Removes anything, bounces it back into the hand. Your opponent then needs to discard a card. Off the stack, it also returns something back to your opponent's hand, which is just really good. It's not easy to remove big guys in this game. There aren't very many cards that do that. Don't Run Away does it. Okay, pseudo removal, your opponent can play it again, but if I play this guy onto an A cost 10th Angel, or an EX card that your opponent had to obviously blow up something that already cost them some significant amount of time, you're gonna get some massive payoffs of this card more often than not. I don't like to see this card very early game. This card is super impactful into like turns 3, turns 4, where you're pretty much late game already. Yeah, some games can go a little bit longer, but turn 3, turn 4, usually we can already talk about late game in this game anyway. But it's a very solid card. Don't Run Away. Absolutely loving it. We run 3 copies of Second Impact, and that's a lot. I agree it is a lot, but that -5 strength is really good. And the reason why that -5 strength is really good is for a number of reasons, okay? So, first of all, it is a removal. It is a mess removal. It's not gonna get rid of the big guys. But if you can make enough time with Gendo, you can actually play 2 second impacts in one turn. If you can go up to like 8, 9 time, you can play 2 second impacts, not giving your opponent a massive amount of extra time, and you basically just swept the board. It's not as good as near third impact necessarily, but in the right context, it is very good. And because we have quite a few guys where we can benefit from, destroying them, we're at least built around it. And off the stack, just giving some battler -3 is also really cool. And then last but not least, we have 2 Shinji and Asukas. This is again a very solid removal. It goes after the cost rather than the strength. But 6 or less is actually a pretty good place to be at. It can certainly get rid of quite a few nasty cards. It can get rid of the Red Lilith. It can get rid of some taunters. It can get rid of some sentinels that you're just struggling to deal with. Push through, even if it's a 7 cost. Again, relying on Gendo. Hopefully you have enough time. Off the stack, jumps back to your hand. Brilliant. Moving on to the EX deck and shortly finishing the video off as well. Hopefully we are running ESV, EVA 00. So this is where we can pull off a very sweet combo with second impact. It does come down dirt cheap as well. It can swing immediately as soon as it comes down. You make sure you swing with this guy, give all your other battlers +4, then you play second impact. Yes, this guy gets destroyed, but hopefully you got into 1 damage onto the stack, and pretty much all your cards have survived second impact. There you go. So that's why we want to get to our EX cards really, really quickly. The second one, just another solid Sentinel. So looking at the Sentinels, we have this guy, we have 3 10th Angel, we have 3 copies of Shinji, we have we have our 3 Gendos, and don't forget that any of these cards can be brought back from your graveyard with Prototype 00. So you got around about 10 cards to play with in your graveyard, which is giving you good selection. I think it's pretty sweet to have that, but also this guy can tap itself. Unrestricted swing with a +1 is really good. As components, EVA 00, just such a good card. You just pick your graveyard back into your hand. Now I've pulled this guy off once. It is the best feeling ever. Playing the rest of the game with like 10+ cards in your hands. Just so good, so good. 08 Beta. With that leadership, again, we're looking to just play our next big guy a lot cheaper. Again, goes really well with the extra time we can get of Gendo. Just really good. This guy, AT Field, is the slightly different version of EVA 02. In terms of cost, they cost the same. This just gives you a huge amount of card advantage, whereas this guy blows something up on your opponent's side, you know, any of those nasty guys. As long as your opponent doesn't have Protector, you want to make sure, because that can be able to then blow up the guy that has the Protector. And you can pick 1 card back from your graveyard. So these guys both will be able to get back a Gendo or something that you might need. But this also removes, I mean, this deal for a 7 cost and an 8 strength card and leaves down, I think AT Field is probably even better than S Components, in a way. And then finally we got the Beast Form, just an amazing card. 10 strength for a 7 cost is not quite as good as 13, but it's still mega strong. Just fast with +3 on the stack. This is a clear finisher. Like, if we can give this guy recovery with Shinji, swing, that's it. Happy days. It's also a very good sponge. Again, 10 strength, super big guy. So this is pretty much it for my green purple monsters deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below in the comments what you think, what would be your iteration if you run this deck. Have you tried it out? Did you like it? All that stuff. Let me know. Peace out, YouTube. Saiyan, signing out.